example 1 of section 3. What you're doing is just breaking down. Look at what type of root is the index. There's no number in here, so that means that there's a 2 here. So we're looking at square root, right? And we know anytime at even roots, we're going to have plus or minus the answer. So square roots is what times itself twice, right? So one thing that you can do is you can switch this to a rational exponent. So that'd be 25x to the fourth raised to the fractional exponent 1/2, right? Because it's an index of 2, so that goes in the denominator. Now what I can do is, because this is multiplication, I can take 25 to the 1/2, which is the square root of 25, right? And then I can take x to the fourth raised to the 1/2. And when I raise powers to powers, I multiply, so I get 25 to the 1/2 would be plus or minus 5, right? And then x to the fourth raised to the 1/2 would be x to the 4 over 2, which is then plus or minus 5x squared, right? Because 4 over 2 is just 2. So there's my answer for that one. Okay, this again is a square root, right? And the negative's on the outside, so there's just going to be a negative answer. Okay, but it is a square root, so I can rewrite this as a half power. So my radicand is the y squared plus 7, and that is being raised to the 12th, so that is my numerator, and 2 would be my denominator. So I can write it as a rational exponent, 12 over my index 2. Well, 12 over 2 is just 6, so this is y squared plus 7 over 6. Now here, I can't do that unless you want to use binomial expansion, but I can't distribute that 6 because this is addition here, so I can't distribute that. So it just stays like that, and there's a negative out front, so I'll put a negative out in front of this, and we can just leave it just like that. Okay, this one is a cube root, so here's my radicand all in there. So 343 a 18 b to the 6th, and that's being raised to a 1/3, okay, because it's a cube root. And then because this is all multiplication, I can distribute that 1/3 to all my exponents. Well, 343 is actually base, so the exponent's just going to be 1/3. Okay, so what times itself 3 times is 1/3. I believe that's 7. I'll check that though. And then 18 to the 1/3 is just 18 over 3. And b to the 6 is just 6 over 3. Then we can reduce those. I'm pretty sure that 7 times itself 3 times is 343, and it is. So 7, then 18 over 3 is 6, so a 6, and then b 2. And then again, because it's a cubic, whatever the radicand is, positive or negative, that's my answer. So this is positive, so this will be positive 7. Okay, last one, it's a square root, so I can take this negative 289 c to the 8th, d to the 4th, and raise that to the 1/2. Negative 289 is a base, so I want to put that in parentheses and raise that to the 1/2. And then c, that 8 right there is an exponent, and this is an exponent, so I can multiply them. C to the 8 over 2, which we know is 4, and then d to the 4 over 2, which we know that is 2. So this one I can't do because I have a negative, so that means I'm going to have an I as an answer, right? And whenever I have a square root, I know it's going to be plus or minus. And then 2i, just I. And then square root of 289, I don't know what the square root of 289 is, but, and I'll see if it breaks down. It is 17, so this would be 17i, plus or minus 17i. And then e to the 4th and a to the 2nd. Okay, so that's how that breaks down. Remember, square roots, 4th roots of negatives will always have an I. Odd ones, whatever the radicand is, that's the sign of your answer.